All right, you guys, welcome back to another episode of the Wedding Hive podcast. Today, I have one of my bestie girls, lash tech queen, Haley Carter.
Hello.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Welcome. We're so excited to have you.
Thanks. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah. What I'm most excited about is today you are bringing a different element. You know, we're all things weddings. We're all things brides, bridal parties, all the tea when it comes to that. But today we are looking at it from a different angle.
Yeah.
So, but before we give that away, do you have a yes or no for her?
I do, in fact. Okay. So, Haley, yes or no to a prenup?
Ooh. This is a hard question for me now.
Yeah.
I'm going yes. And I don't think now, I think if you would have asked me before my divorce, I'd be like, absolutely not. Why are you starting off your marriage like thinking it's going to fail? But
Girl,
if I have enough money to even think about a prenup, we're doing that.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
business, like, yeah.
I know. That's what we
And
talked
I wouldn't be
about.
offended if someone was like, hey, can you sign this? I'd be like, sure.
Like, actually, you know what?
Can you sign
said,
mine?
Yeah.
You said, well, actually, I have one too. So
I hope I have enough money someday to be like, here you go.
True.
But yes, it's a yes.
It's a yes for
Did we
you.
talk? We talked about prenups on the Cinco de Mayo
Yes,
episode
we
last
did.
week.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're
I don't
like,
recall.
I know, me either. We had too much tequila. So I think we said yes, depending on the situation.
Is that what we said?
I think so.
Okay.
If you have a lot, I'm with you. If I had like a big amount of money, I would
because
say
we
yes.
had talked about debt too.
Yeah.
Like
I would,
student loans.
Yeah.
Those need to be written through prenups.
Yep, exactly.
Cool. I'm
So,
with it.
I'm with
You're
it too.
with it.
Yep.
We're here.
Yeah,
We're here
no,
today.
So,
protect
I mean, I
yourself.
didn't get one, but like hopefully.
We never know what's going to happen.
Yes. All right, queens. So we obviously here talk all things weddings, bridal parties, bachelorettes, you name it. We are in the wedding world. However, there is another side to weddings that doesn't really get to be talked about. And so we are excited to bring some information to you today. Not only information, but Haley is here to share her journey and her story through marriage and divorce. So Haley, thank you so much for being brave and hanging out with us, answering some pretty raw questions that don't always get talked about. So thank you for being here. Can you just briefly share your story a little bit and what led to your separation?
So I got married in November of 2019, right? Grace was there.
I was there.
But before that, like my ex-husband was my high school sweetheart. You know, I was 16 when we were dating, or boyfriend and girlfriend. You know, you can only do so much in high school. But so we've known each other for like a really long time. Got engaged February 2019, married real quick. In the middle of that engagement, we got pregnant with my son Daniel, and and it was good. And then,
were you pregnant when you guys got married?
Yes, I was 20 weeks, and I was like so lucky that my
She
dress
was
still fit
glowing
me.
and beautiful. I will say you're a beautiful bride.
Thank you. It was. I mean, my wedding was awesome. It's annoying, but my wedding was so cool. My dress, gorge. The ring, gorge. So annoying. But so that was that. And then we had our son March 2020, and COVID happened, and then we had our daughter in 2022, and then 2023. Divorce. Well, separation. And then, we were separated for a year, and then we got divorced in 2024 officially. And now here we are. So that's like the brief overview, right? I don't know how much depth.
Yeah. I mean, well, and how was the process? You said it took a year. Was it because of issues between you two? Was it like, what was the whole?
Were you trying to reconcile through that year, or was it like the legal paperwork and mediations?
So when the separation first happened, it wasn't like my choice. Like, he just one day was like, I don't love you anymore. I don't want to be married. And that's fine. Like I'm healing from it, but it was like a huge shock. So I spent a couple weeks. I mean, who knows? I don't even know how long it was, but I spent a long time like, I'll do anything, like move out, like take some time to yourself, like let's work on it. Let's go to counseling. I was a stay-at-home mom, so I was like, you can be the stay-at-home dad. I'll go back to work. Like, what do we need to do to fix this? Like, we have 2 kids. Like, we've been here since we were 16. Like, let's work on it. And he was just like, when I'm done with something, I'm done with something. And I was like,
Did you see any signs leading up to it?
no, I mean, our marriage was happy. Like we were happy, but with any relationship you have, whether that's like spouse, partner, parents, friends, kids, like you have to work on that relationship. So with that being said, like we had marriage issues, but it wasn't like, it wasn't anything I thought we were getting divorced over.
Like detrimental. That wasn't going to make it work.
We were in like our tag team parenting phase, where, he would work and then I would take care of the kids. And then when he got home, I would go to work. And so I was the stay-at-home mom, but I still had like my lash business that I did on the side whenever I could. And so we really were just tapping in and tapping out, which is just what happens sometimes. And like sometimes you're upset. Like I know I struggled really bad with postpartum depression with my son. And then, I had my daughter 2 years later. And so it's not a lot of time to like recover. And I had even more depression and anxiety with my daughter. And that's just the kind of stuff that you just have to like go through. So we were happy. Like all signs were like fine and good. We argued. Every marriage has some sort of problems. Nothing's perfect. But again, nothing I thought was like, oh, like we're going to be divorced.
Yeah.
But, there were, I look back now and there were times that I would like talk to my mom and I'd be like, Mom, I don't know what to do. Like, and this was coming from me. I was like, I don't want to be divorced. And this was probably like a year before this happened. Emery was still a baby. And I was just like, I don't want to be, my sister's also divorced. So I was like, I don't want to be your second failed marriage. Like, I was like, I don't want a divorce. Like, I don't know what to do. And, she would ask all the questions like, are you guys having sex? And I'm like, yeah, like we're good there. Like it's not a problem. She's like, so what's the problem? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, well, I do know. Like I made a lot of excuses, but he just wasn't prioritizing me in the way that I felt that I needed to be prioritized. And I remember having these conversations with him, like, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I need from you. And I remember him being like, yeah, I got it. We'll work on it, blah, blah, blah. And, it would change for a little bit. And then it would just go back to me just kind of being there. I was a stay-at-home mom. I didn't have time for friends. Like we had kids really fast, which puts a lot of pressure on the marriage, but like we love our kids. Like my family was pretty much happy. Like we spent time together, but I put on a lot of excuses of like, we're young, we had kids fast, he's got lots of friends. If he wants to go out, that's fine. But it turned into like not coming out. Like it turned into, I'm going to leave work and go to the bar with my friends. And I'm like at home by myself. And that happened all the time. And I mean, I think I went out with Grace like 2 or 3 times my whole marriage.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it just I got really tired of feeling like not a priority, which I think is like so normal.
Yeah.
And, I remember like one big argument. Well, it's not even, like we didn't even argue. Like we just were very good at talking. We're very respectful to each other. I just remember being like, something has to change or like I'm out. And he was like, yeah, I'll change it. I'll do this, this, and this. And of course, like it didn't work. But, fast forward a year later, I don't think I would have ever left that marriage. I just would have put up with it and stayed for my kids. And like, I left him. Like that's the guy I've been with for years, So I would have never left. And when he did, like I said, it was like a huge shocker. I had no idea. And now I always say it's like the best thing he ever could have done for me because I'm so much better off now.
Yeah.
But so were there signs? Yes. Was I seeing them? No, like rose-colored glasses kind of thing. Now I can look back and be like, oh, that's not great.
That probably wasn't good.
Why'd you put up with that?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing. I know it's a hard topic.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I really answer anyone who has questions and I'm very honest about it. I like, not that I was perfect, right? But I'm like, it wasn't really my fault. So I'm okay.
You said I did nothing wrong here.
What happened. See, nothing's like hard because I'm not always the nicest person. And I, again, struggled with postpartum and depression. And so like I was working through meds. Like now I'm like stable and medicated and I'm great,
So
but like
Yeah.
so I know I wasn't the easiest to work with, but like I was definitely
like
not
marriage,
first. I was definitely not second. I was definitely not third on his list of priorities. So
yeah.
Do you think that was
Probably
like
hard.
the biggest issue and that's why?
yeah, I mean, that was my issue. And
What do you think
so-
his issue was of like, did he ever really give an excuse or like if it came out of nowhere, would you think?
he did tell me one time, like, you never ask. Like, you never talk to me. And I'm like, bro, yeah, I do. I asked you a couple of times, and then like, he wasn't the type of person to talk about his feelings, which is fine. But so then I'm like, when do I stop bugging you about it? Like, if you're not going to talk to me, like, that's fine. If you want to handle it however you want to handle it, that's cool. But like, I'm going to ask you a couple times. And then after that, like, I'm always like, I'm here if you want to talk. But I'm not going to like badger him. We know each other well enough to be like, he doesn't talk about his feelings. And that's okay. If it works for you. But obviously it wasn't working. So yeah.
Well, yeah, again, thank you for sharing your whole story. With, going through your divorce, what are some of the biggest emotional or just maybe practical day-to life challenges you faced going through your divorce?
So I think just trying to like get into a new normal was like really hard while you're like sad and while you're figuring it out. And while you're sharing time with your kids, that was like my hardest thing. I was a stay-at-home mom. I was with my kids 90% of the time. So then to go to like 50-50, like this is insane. And not only that, but like figuring out who I was, not just a mom and not just a wife. Like those are the only two things I really was were. That's who I was at the time. Like a mom and a wife, which is fine. But trying to figure that out and then realizing really fast, I was like, oh, like my lash business is not going to support me and 2 children. Like I need to change a lot of things about myself. And so that was really weird. I went back to school. I'm working towards nursing school. I'm a CNA right now.
I'm so excited for you.
It's so fun. I still lash, like, majority of my time away from my kids goes to that. But I like got back into religion and really just focused on myself. So that was like really cool and eye-opening. I don't even remember your question.
No, that is, like your biggest challenge. Yeah, I mean,
it was just figuring out who I was. Like that was so weird, and it takes time. And
you've been with him since you were 16.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine. And then you're like, wait, I'm going to be with someone or eventually or by yourself now. Yeah, by yourself.
I'm like actually alone.
Yeah.
Like it was so weird.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, like I said, I love where I'm at. I love who I am. That's really cool.
That makes me so happy.
That's awesome. How have you and your ex-husband managed co-parenting? What has worked and what have you found to be difficult?
So we are 50-50. Communication is like key. Like if you guys can communicate and understand that like what you're doing is for your kids, because they're really the only ones who lose in this situation. Like when you don't agree or when you fight or like whatever, they're the ones who lose, and it's the hardest for them. So communication probably has been the hardest thing. I think at first we tried to be friends really early, and then like that didn't work and
got sticky.
It got real sticky. Once, we both started dating, and like there are clear rules set. Like we have talked about these things, and like things would happen, and like, rules wouldn't be followed, or like, I don't know, just little things being like, okay, like, did the kids eat lunch? Like, how much medicine do I give the kids? Or are you going to take them to the doctor? Like all those things, trying to figure that stuff out. And then like me feeling so like not behind, but out of the picture to be like, get a call and say, oh, like so-and-so is sick, Daniel's sick. And be like, okay, well, did you do this, this, and this? Because that's what I would do. And I know he does things way different. But, for a while we were very much like, we don't talk to each other. We do a handoff. We say goodbye to our kids. We get in the car and you go. Like, it was very mumuch no
to the
words
point,
spoken.
Yeah.
Like, and we're working on getting better, because ultimately you want like a good co-parenting relationship. Because again, the kids are the only ones who suffer. Like if you can't both be in the same space during a soccer practice, like.
And your kids are so young too. So it's good now that, I think it's good now that you guys are both like on the same page of like, it's tough, but let's make this work, because the kids are young and you want to be able to go to the soccer game together and have a, amicable relationship with your ex. Cause I mean, at the end of the day, like until your kids are, essentially 18, you're stuck.
But not even. Like, you're going to go to their wedding.
Exactly.
They're going to have babies. You're going to go visit that new baby. Like, they're going to, so it's like, he will be in my life for the rest of my life.
Yes.
Like, or until he decides he doesn't want to be. And like, that's his decision. But I mean, especially for Daniel, like he's old enough to remember a time where like mom and dad did live in the same house and mom and dad were married and loved each other. And when we first separated, he had a lot of like where's Papa at? And I'm like,
he gone.
Sorry, baby. I'm like, Papa doesn't want to live with mommy anymore. Like I give my kids very age appropriate answers because again, like I'm not lying to anyone. Like you want to ask me, I'll tell you. And so he handled that a little hard, you know, and he still does that sometimes. They've definitely gotten better, but
has that been tough on you to like see him like sad about it?
It's really hard because I'm like, there's times where I'm like, I don't even like your dad. And I don't like, you don't want to go to your dad's house. I don't want you to go either. Like, so, but you know, when he says things like, I want to stay with mom, I'm like, but it's dad's turn. Like your dad loves you. And that's what's hard. Being like, you're going to have so much fun at your dad's house. Cause you want to be positive for them. Like you don't want them to, I will never be like, I hate your dad. Like your dad sucks. Like I would never say that to them.
Yeah.
And so that's been like a challenge. But again, like you have to put all that aside because it's about your kids and they are your kids forever. So yeah.
And luckily kids are smart enough that they figure it out on their own. They can read between the lines. They can see the involvement and the participation and they will come up with those conclusions just fine on their own.
And I mean, the day will come when my kids are old enough. They will know what happened and they will know that I did everything I could to, you know, keep our family together and it will, the day will come. And it's not,
you said I'm patient.
and again, I'm never going to be the mom who's angry and bitter because I'm really not. Like, is it sad? Of course. Do I still get sad about it? Of course. Like divorce is so weird because it's like you're mourning a death, but like that person's not dead. You see them every day, but that person is not the same person. And the relationship you had is obviously not the same. So there will be a day and they will figure it out and it's okay. And, you know, maybe they're totally okay with it. And I mean, I'm not here to make my kids hate their dad. I'm not here to make my kids like me more. I want my kids to have a good relationship with their dad. But that I don't have to.
So I'll be nice and that's
we can be co-parents. And I'm okay with that. Like we can be friends.
That's good. I like how you handle like that whole situation too of, you know, I feel like there's definitely some either women or even, you know, men who like are very, you know, you get divorced and they're like, I don't like your mom or this and that. And it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, you chose to be with that person and have a kid with them. Like there's still always going to be love there. Like, and there always should be, you know?
Well, and like, obviously like I have a boyfriend who like I'm getting really serious with. And, Carlos texted me the other day and sorry, my ex-husband texted me the other day and he said, like, do you think the kids like understand? And this is where I'm like glad that we're friends and we can kind of have these conversations. Cause I'm like, like I definitely think they get it. And he's like, Daniel, like Carlos was showing them pictures of like our wedding or I don't even know, I can't remember. And Emery's like, ooh, why are you kissing mommy? Like she doesn't get it, you know, because she's like, she's never seen that. And she was a baby. She's not going to remember that. And, you know, she's like, oh, mommy has a boyfriend now. So like they get it. They know like Daniel's like, yeah, you're not married to my dad anymore. And I'm like, yeah, correct. Thank you. Thank you for the reminder. You're right. So yeah, they're very smart. They get it. I mean, they've handled it so well, and that's been super good. Like a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. That was like my biggest, like my poor kids.
Like kids. Worry of how they're going to deal with it and handle it.
Lucky they're young enough. They won't remember.
I think that's good too. They'll just like always, especially Emery, like she's always just gonna.
She just knows. I go to mom and I go to dad and I'm happy to go wherever I go.
So. And as long as they're in, you know, happy households at each, you know, house,
love
I think.
and
then love. I think that's the biggest
and they have
thing.
each other. And I'm like,
that's
they're
true.
besties. So I'm like so glad.
And they're so adorable.
Yeah. Thanks. I think so too, but never mind.
No, you're allowed to say they're very adorable and cute.
I think so.
Yes. So obviously like going through the divorce we talked about, now you're single or well, you were in that period. Now you're, you know, not, you have a boyfriend, but You know, how do you feel like this journey kind of shaped you into the woman you are like now? Do you feel like you've changed a lot? Do you feel like you realize like, oh my gosh, I'm, you know, how does that look now to you?
So I was raised LDS or Mormon or Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Like they want you to say the whole thing now. But when I, you know, was in high school, I realized really fast. I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't like the rules. I like my boyfriend who's not Mormon, and, you know, it was Carlos. And so I just kind of fell away from the church, especially when I went to college. I was like, nope, I don't really care. Like, I know where you are and I'll be there if I want to be. And I just, again, no like bitterness. Like it wasn't for me. I liked to party. So, you know, my wedding, I got married in my aunt's backyard. Like I didn't marry a Mormon guy. All my family is Mormon, but I, you know, just stepped away. And of course I raised my kids that way. Like we didn't really go to church in the beginning. But once Daniel started getting older, I was like, I should probably teach my kids something. I was like, I don't know how to do that. And like the only way I know how is to take him to church the same way I was raised. And at the time, again, no ill will, like no ill feelings towards the church. I was just like, this is what I know. I love their family ideas, and that's what I know. So I started taking them, and I, you know, talked to their dad, and I was like, if you want to take them to whatever church, like let's go. We'll do it both. I don't mind. I want my kids to be
raised in a faith.
Yeah, I just don't want them to feel pressured. Like I want them to pick what they believe in, what they know, and I don't want it to just be like, well, here's what I know. So
you have to.
So I was like at the time really open to being like, we'll do whatever we want. Since then, I am like totally flipped my life. I am like a super active member of the church. I like love God. I love Jesus, and I don't drink coffee anymore. I like don't drink anymore. But I know like through my dating, like I was not there yet. So I was still like dating guys who weren't Mormon and was still drinking. And like, I remember the night that I just like went out and partied way too hard. And I woke up and I was like, I don't like this. Like, I don't like the way that I feel. I don't like the way that I act. I don't feel good. And I was just like, I like Diet Coke way more than I like tequila. Like, so I was like, I could just drink a Diet Coke and I'd be fine. So that day I just stopped drinking, and I don't drink anymore. And, you know, so just little by little things went on, and
that changed you. Do you think going through a divorce and like separating from him, do you think that is what brought you back to that? Or do you think it was just your own life change?
I definitely
do you think you would have gone back to LDS if you were still with your ex?
No, because he would have never followed me. Like he would have never came with me, which is fine. I like never was like, pressured, you have to do this, obviously. But no, I don't think I would have searched for that, because I think in a time of like sadness and, you know, like despair and like depression, and you feel so alone, it's like, well, the only person who I've taught who knows what I'm going through is like God. So I think that's what really pulled me to it.
I love that.
I know. And it
makes me happy. I could
just like cry because I'm just so thankful for like that community that I got like so much support from. And like, of course I met my boyfriend on a Mormon dating app. And so it's like, it's so cool to have someone who like shares the same values as you, and like wants to raise his kids the same. And like, he goes to church with me. I think my ex-husband went to church with me like twice. And so it's like, I just like to not feel alone. I like, I'm happy to not feel like I'm raising my kids by myself in the way that I want to be, like have them raised. And I don't know, but yeah, I love it.
I love that for you.
I'm so happy to be where I am. I love the church, and it's just like,
she was glowing.
Thanks. It's been so good. And I went back to school, and that was really cool. So,
because who knows if you would have like done that, you might have, I feel like
I
sometimes
never would have gone back to school, because I was just, my money was like the fun money. You know, it was.
And when you're in like a routine every day, it's like, oh, do I really want to go to like nursing school and like do that? But now that you have your own independence too, with like having the 50-50, you know, and then you can like go do your stuff. And
it's a blessing in disguise.
I know. Yeah, exactly. I have a question with, obviously going back to the LDS, did you feel any worry of like maybe judgment because you got a divorce? I know that's like a big no-no, like, and that, you know.
It's so weird because it wasn't divorce that made me feel like uncomfortable or less than. It was more like in my head, I was like, okay, like I have my nose pierced. Like I'm not taking that out. Like at the time I was like half in, half out kind of thing. And it took me a while before I finally was like, okay, I'm going to be all in. But no, like I never felt judged by anyone.
That's good.
I think church culture, like the LDS culture, has like a bad rep.
Yep.
I think it's definitely changing like now. Our generation is way more like forgiving and accepting and loving and like, yeah, have a tattoo and have your nose pierced. It really doesn't matter. Like, so no, I never felt weird. I think it was just more like personally, like,
internally.
Oh, I've done all these things. And like, are people judging me? Like, are the Mormon boys going to like me because I used to drink and, you know, like party and I have kids? Like, so that was something that really scared me, but
like
obviously they do. You said, well, got one. So no, it's been good.
Aww.
Yeah.
I love that.
I do too.
What is one thing you wish people understood better about divorce, especially when children are involved?
People love to give their opinions, and I love the opinions, but they would say things like, well, if it was me, I would do this. And I'm like, you have no idea. Like, yeah, you can put yourself in like someone's shoes and like try to imagine what it's like, but you don't know until you're there. And I think, you know, I've seen people get divorced and I'm like, oh, I would never. I'm like, if my husband did that, I would never go back to him and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I fought really hard for that marriage in the beginning. So I think, I don't know, people, and it's not their fault. People just don't know. Like, I don't know if you agree with that. Like, people just don't know, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But I think I wish people were just more like,
I feel like more kind. It sounds like,
well, and just
or
more
like more understanding.
Yeah, or like, how are you feeling? Like, but I had a really good support system. My family was really nice. My
Your
friends were
family was
really
so
nice.
Sweet.
I love my family.
Literally, your
I had like
parents
aunts
are
and
amazing.
uncles. Yeah, my parents, siblings, friends, church friends. Like I had a really good support system. So I think that's kind of what I wish people would know. Like, just ask, like, how are you? And know that like they're not good. Like they might say fine or they might say I'm so good. Like they're not. And you know, some days even when you are good, like you might not be that good. Some days it just hits you. But
I would also add that people forget that they're not in the home with you and that person. So on the outside, everything looks perfect, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a beautiful marriage. And oh, your family's so happy. And oh, everything's going so well. You weren't behind the closed doors. You didn't hear the conversations that took place.
Yeah.
You didn't feel the emotions and some of the weight that came behind the words.
yeah, for sure.
I'm with you on, there's so many
Opinions.
so many
Keep
so
your
many
opinions to yourself.
Just support. Just be there to support. But really,
and like even with like any emotions, people are like, oh, so for the first few days we're life sucks. You're on the ground and you can't get up.
Yeah.
And then after that, like, oh, she's crawling and now she's walking and now that's not how emotions work.
Yeah.
That's not how emotions work. Some days are going to be great and you're going to wake up and go, today's a great day. And then 2 weeks later you open your eyes and you go, I can't.
Not okay
I can't
today,
get out of bed. I just can't do it because it's a wave of how emotions roll.
Yeah.
When you go through
A roller
separation
coaster.
and divorce and then holidays and learning how to do
my
holidays
gosh.
without that person.
I can't even imagine. I don't even like going to different holidays just with my family, like me and John's family. I'm like, this is annoying. So kids.
But that's what the norm is.
Yep.
And now fast forward and you know that him and the kids are there and you're not.
yes.
So there's so many emotions.
You're at home crying in your bed.
Yeah. You're like,
You said we're watching, we have an ice cream tub and we're watching Gossip Girl.
Yes, exactly. And you're like, where's my fur dog? And you're like, you're no help. You're not my children.
Yeah.
So, it's not easy. Divorce is not easy.
Yep.
Raising
fun.
children is not easy.
No.
At all.
So keep your opinions to yourself. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Were there any red flags from your dating, engagement, or marriage?
So, looking back, yes. Just things that I excused, like a lot of things. So we broke up for a year when I was still in high school and he went to college because he was a grade above me. And when we got back together, he was very much like, I don't want my friends to know yet, like very secretive. Like, and that was so weird for me because I was like, why? Like everyone knows like
your history.
Yeah.
And
like
stuff.
what's the problem? And, you know, I think right then and there, if I was just like, he doesn't like you. Like he doesn't like you.
Like, girl,
it's
open
okay.
your eyes.
He might not like you. Yeah. I mean, how different my life would be then. But I remember on my wedding day just feeling like, is this what it's supposed to feel like? Like, should I feel like this? Granted, I was 20 weeks pregnant. So it's like, at the time I was like, here are these like emotions or like, are these normal feelings? But I'm like, is this what this is supposed to feel like? And I can't even say that it like felt bad or felt good. I just like felt
numb
or like anxious. I don't know. I'm just like, I know I'm supposed to get married. And I was like sobbing. And, you know, my mom came up to me and she was like, do I need to, like, I'll take you away right now. Like, we'll drive away. And I'm like, Mom, it's not that. Like, I don't know. And like, again, think of how different my life would be if I was just like, yeah, maybe I'm not ready for this.
Yeah.
But like, I so clearly was. I loved this man. Like, I was having his baby. Like, it just felt, and I don't know, maybe other people felt, did you feel like that on your wedding day?
Not really.
Yeah. So I'm like, you're like, wait, maybe that was the first red flag. You're like, wait. I'm like, is this how everyone feels? You just don't know.
Yeah.
And so I went through my whole marriage thinking like, well, no one's marriage is perfect. Like maybe this is just it. Maybe I'm just not like, not everyone is as happy as they look, you know, the Instagram pictures, or it's probably like this in their marriage too. It's freaking not. It's freaking not like that. They're actually happy. You can be happy. And so like just the partying, the going out with friends, like I get it. We were young. Like we got married really young. We got married when I was 20. Like, and I excused it. I was like, go out, you know, go get some steam out. But like, I'm your wife and I'm at home with your kids and you should be home with me. Like I should be your friend and like, you should be coming home to me.
Yeah.
Maybe that's too much to ask. Like, and you know, I
said, well, shit.
and I thought like, maybe I'm asking too much. Like, let him have his friend. Like I would always like talk myself down, but now I know like, yeah, you should be coming home and spending time with your wife. Like, yeah, I get it. You just worked. Come home.
Yeah.
Come home and spend the night
there's
with
like
me.
different time. Like, okay, like wait till Saturday and like, go, or like, let's make it a plan together. Like, let's all go hang out.
Let's all go. Yeah.
Not like, it's not.
And so things like that. Like, and I mean, like I said, I don't want to get like too personal and like throw out all his trash. Like there were things that I was like, this is not normal. Like, this is not okay. And, you know, I would excuse it and then it would happen again. And this is not normal and this is not okay. But and those are things like I never told anyone because it's your husband. Like,
correct.
You love them. You don't want to like, you can forgive your husband. You can forgive your partner way easier than like your mom can.
Correct.
So I wasn't going to go to my mom and be like, hey mom, I, you know, found this, and this out. And like, my mom hates my husband. Like,
well, and then the next day you're like, oh no, we're good. We talked about it. It's fine. Your mom's like, the fuck, we're not.
Yeah, like that is not fine.
The frick not.
So back to the whole, like, do you wish there were other things you could tell people? Yeah. Like talk to your freaking parents or talk to a friend and like listen to them.
Yeah.
And you know, I had people tell me, like, I had one person specifically, she knows who she is, look me in the face and be like, do not date this guy. We were in college and she was telling me this. I got so mad at her. I was like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to like, like she's my family. And I was like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to be your friend. It almost ruined our relationship. And she was like, well, you know what? If you love him, you love him. And so, yeah, people are going to tell you, you're not going to listen to them. But now dating, you know, I would come home from a date or I would have like someone who I was dating consistently. And I'd be like, hey, mom and dad, here's this, and this. What do you guys think? Because I'm like, I'm not messing it up this time. Like
you said, we're only doing 2 rounds.
But also like saying that stuff out loud, if you don't feel comfortable saying it out loud, it's probably wrong. Like they're probably doing something wrong. And so
very true.
I wish I would have probably talked to my parents more or talked to someone more. But again, who knows if I would listen. So yeah there were red flags. And but again,
well, it's hard when you're in it
glasses.
too. And it's like,
you just don't know.
you know, I feel like there are a lot of people have that story. It's like they get out of something and it's like, no, people told me, but when you're in it, it's hard to like
listen.
walk away
Yeah.
or listen. Yeah.
Well, when you have kids too, I'm like,
Well, and I was going to say, she was pregnant. Like, she was pregnant when she got married. I can relate to that because obviously I never made it to the altar.
We didn't know that.
I'm so sorry.
We planned a $50,000 wedding. Sorry, mom and dad.
Love you so much.
We planned a $50,000 wedding, and 4 months before the wedding, we separated, and we had 2 kids together at the time. So we had our first kiddo together, and then we got engaged, and we found out we were pregnant mid-engagement. And
Love
so
it,
we
queen.
kicked back because I had my dress picked out. And I had my dress ordered, and there was no way with like the way the dates lined up,
that you were fitting in that dress.
There's no way we could alter that dress.
I get it.
And it's interesting because again, like you said, looking back, he was like, "Oh no, we'll just push the date. Like we'll just push it back." That probably should have been a flag, but
oh my gosh,
that but like, I do think also he very much so wanted my dress to fit because he knew like I planned this wedding to a T.
Yeah. $50,000, that dress better fit you like
that.
It better be looking stunning, honey.
It was an absolutely stunning dress. I still to this day have it.
Me too.
Like in my okay, thank you.
I have everything.
Okay, all I have is the dress.
Okay, well, I packed up my life.
Make it to the altar, so.
No, but he 4 months prior to our wedding, we separated, and so it was just me and our 2 kids. Our youngest was 5 months old, and our oldest was 3. So I had a 3 and 5 month old when we separated.
So hard.
It's been 13 years. We have a great relationship. He's a good guy.
Good to hear. I love it.
He said, "Ooh."
If we sat down and had this conversation 13 years ago, the conversation might be different, but healing is a journey.
Yes.
So totally. no ill feelings towards him. And I would never speak poorly about him because he is happy in his life now. I am obviously married and have a bazillion and a half children with my now husband.
Yeah.
But when you talk about those red flags, now I'm like just going off on a random tangent. Talking about those red flags, I completely agree with you. And I am so proud of you for now having those conversations round 2, because those are the conversations that need to take place, because sometimes, like you said, when you have those love goggles on, you don't see things. And so it's good. And relationships with friends are good, and they are healthy to have and to have that community. So
I agree. Okay, next question. Obviously, you were once a bride.
Yes. Yes.
And we know again soon. What would you say to a future bride today who's full of hope, but also maybe afraid of what the future holds?
Okay, so this goes back to like my feeling on my wedding day.
I was going to say this.
So I really think I was supposed to be married. Like I was supposed to have my kids. There was no other way. I mean, there was another way to get my kids, but like that was my life. That was exactly the way it's supposed to go. And so like, I don't know. You guys told me you didn't have that feeling of like, ooh, should I be doing this?
Yeah.
But I'm like, just do it. I mean, you're going to be okay. But unless you're like a huge, unless there's something that's like really big, maybe don't do it. But like just unsettling feelings, I feel like.
Listen to your gut. Like if you think,
listen to your gut maybe. But I mean, I obviously ended up doing it. So I don't know if that was like me listening to my gut, or I was just like, well, I'm here. Like, but I'm happy I did it. If I could do it all over again, I would, if it meant I could have my kids. Like it, and you learn and you grow, and what's meant for you is what's going to come to you. And like, I don't know. And if you're like spiritual, then like God has a plan, right?
Yep.
And those things had to happen to get me where I am now. And if you're not spiritual, like,
you said yellow.
What goes around comes around. I don't know. Like
karma's a bitch. Karma's gonna get you. So
however you want to check the stars.
Whatever like astrology
whatever
BS
works for you. But
like insert here.
Exactly.
But I think weddings are stressful anyways. Like you spend a lot of money,
and time.
and time, and like it's stressful. I know. Like on the way to my bridals, we were running late, and like my ex-husband and I got in like this huge fight, and I'm like, we're about to go take our wedding pictures, and like we're fighting. Like, but it happens. And then, we took our wedding pictures and they were gorgeous. And like, everything was fine. So
Yeah.
it happens.
But I do think you have a point. If you have some underlying feelings and you are getting up to that wedding day, wedding stress is normal. Planning a wedding is stressful.
I think cold feet are normal too. Right?
There's a little bit of like, oh my gosh, I'm making this lifelong commitment. But if you have that gut wrenching feeling, you need to have those conversations.
Yeah.
Those conversations have to be done.
Yeah.
If that's with your partner, if you need to pull a third party in because maybe there have been some flags leading up to it, pull a trusted person, your officiant, whoever that is. If you are trusting them to officiate your wedding, hey, can you just come in and sit with us? I know it's going to be so weird, but I need a second set of eyes on this conversation because these are some things I'm feeling and maybe delaying the wedding.
Yeah. Well, and like, try to get there before you walk down the aisle.
Yeah.
So let's like do that like a few months before.
Gonna be like really awkward.
Yes. When I have brides have meltdowns at rehearsal, I'm like, are these like happy tears or like, should I bring my Nikes tomorrow and like have the car started because like we out.
Yeah. You said, are we leaving?
I will help you get out of this, girl, if this isn't a good situation, but I need to know the vibe here. Right. What are we feeling?
You're like, I can't tell.
Well, and I think if it's like, I don't know, I'm like, just, it sounds so bad. If it's like, and I don't know, I think you should just get married. Like, just do it. I really do think that if Carlos, I don't know if I want to say his name or it doesn't really matter, right?
No.
But I really do think if Carlos wanted to like work on our marriage, we could have. Like, I really think we could have made things work if we had more communication, maybe counseling. Like, I think you can make marriages work, whether that's like,
but exactly, I think it's good that you both like, you got to a point where you tried to make it work and you're just like, okay, you can't be the only one like trying to make this work forever.
Well, like, I'm not going to beg. Like,
I'm like, I ain't getting on my hands and knees, I can tell you that.
16-year-old Haley again, like, or 18-year-old Haley, whenever, like, begging him not to break up with me when he goes to college. And I'm like, girl, remember who you are.
Yes.
But like, I will never be doing that again. I'll never be begging for someone to love me ever again because now I know, like, you don't have to. And like, people don't do that. People don't beg their husband to love them. And that's so good to know.
Right? So I'm glad we figured that out.
Yes. So to wrap up, I would love to know, what does the whole future hold and where are you now?
Okay, so I have a boyfriend. You know, he also went through divorce. He has a son. We just had a really great weekend with all our kids together.
Yeah. Oh yeah, did you go to Disney on Ice?
Yes, we did. It was so fun. The kids loved it. They get along really well. They like each other. It's a long distance relationship. And so what the future holds, we have no idea.
Yeah.
We have no idea, but we're just,
you guys are so cute together.
Thanks.
It makes
we
me
have
so happy. I'm like,
thank you. I love him so much. We have like, you know, every trip planned. We try to see each other once or twice a month. And, you know, so we never leave each other without an idea of when we're going to see each other again. And
I love that.
Long distance is hard, but like,
I know. I don't know how you do that.
It's been really cool because like I still get like the time to be me. I get to go to the gym when I have my kids. I get to go to school. I get to have a job. I get to have 2 jobs and like, you know, and so it's like, I still have a lot of time for me and it makes everything that we do like that much more intentional and that much more special. And so it's like all about the work you put in. But I mean, fingers crossed for this one, you know, but again, future, we have no idea because
I forget, how long have you guys been together so far?
So we started to like talk, be friends, whatever, February of last year. And then, and then August, he flew
like
out
officially
last year. Yeah. He flew out to hang out with me in person for a couple days. And when he left, he was like, I don't want to date anyone else. And I was like, you need to. Like, you need to date more people and I need to date more people because, like, you live far away.
Yeah, you're like, is this actually going to work?
And that lasted, like, 2 weeks. And I was like, just kidding, you were right. Like, I don't want to date anyone else.
Like,
these guys suck. You're like, you're really cool. And so, since it's almost been a year, I mean, it's been a year since we've been friends. And I think I love that is how we kind of started, you know, just going through divorce at the same time, having young kids and just being
like, what
friends.
are the odds, too, of you, like, both going through that? And, I think it's great that like you both have kids, so like, you know, like the dynamics of like having to like co-parent and stuff, which I think is like amazing.
And he just like gets me on a whole nother level because he did it. Like he knows the feelings. Like he gets the healing
emotions,
journey. Like trying to explain that to someone while you're dating, like it's
weird.
It's weird. Yeah.
Like, you're like, so some days I'm really happy and some days I'm really sad.
Some days I still cry over my ex-husband, but it's not because I love him. Like
it's a totally different situation. You just like, you don't get it.
I am crying because my marriage ended, but like it's weird. So
but I'm fine, but I'm not fine.
Yeah. I don't want him back, but I'm still crying. And so it's so great. And he's amazing. And like I said, he's a member of the church. So it's so cool to like,
and then you guys have that too in common.
The same. And he's so sweet.
Do we think wedding bells eventually?
We talk about it. Okay. Yeah. It's definitely being talked about.
Okay. Are you excited to like get married again after like going through a divorce, or like how do you feel about like weddings and like getting married again?
So I feel like I put in a little Q&A, like, what do we think about like, do we just elope or do we have another wedding for a second?
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh, that was you.
That was me. Yeah. Because I feel so much pressure to just elope because it's like, I already did everything. And like my wedding was really cool. There were fireworks, like literal fireworks.
It was so cool. So cool.
But, and like, it was pretty cheap. You know, Mormons do not spend a lot of money on weddings because they do it all themselves. So it's like the most expensive things were like the tables and chairs I rented, my dress and the DJ. So it's like everything else we did.
Yeah.
So it's not really like a money thing, but it's like, do we really want to invite everyone again to like, hey, come watch my marriage? Like,
I hope I'm invited again.
But with that being said, like, since we're both LDS, like we're going to get married in the temple. So it's like a very different.
Oh yeah. Different scenario. Wedding. And so, yeah. Cause then you guys would just have the reception like after.
Yeah.
Right?
And so we're like, do we do something small and just like invite family, or like, do we like have like a big ceremony outside so like all of our other friends can see, because I have friends that are not Mormon. And so like they won't see me get married. So it's like,
do you want the big wedding or do you want?
I don't want a big wedding.
Okay.
No. But then like, it's so hard for me to find the middle ground because I'm like, I know what dress I want. Like
you said, I already know.
My Pinterest board is built. Like I know what I want, but then it's like, okay, how much like, do we really want to do this again? And it's like, you're not sending out a registry because like, you're not gonna make everyone buy you 2 gifts again. And then it's like
a second toaster.
I think,
yeah, exactly.
I say we talked about this on our last episode. I say just ask for money so you guys can go on a honeymoon.
Right? And we're like,
honeymoon fun.
So we're like,
I
if
think
we
that's
elope,
fair.
we could be like, hey, we eloped. If you want to like support, here's our little QR code. Right?
Exactly.
But I'm always like, let's go to like, there's temples all around the world. I'm like, let's go to like the temple in Hawaii and like just invite our parents, get married, and then have our honeymoon there. So like, where do you want a honeymoon? Let's get married there. But then we're like,
but then the friends.
Because I'm back in the church, like this is he's been married in the temple.
Yeah.
I obviously haven't. And it's like a really sacred and special thing. So I'm like, I want my family to be there. I have a huge family. So it's like, it's really hard. But I think do whatever you want to do. I think just like baby showers for your second baby, like people are always weird about it. Every baby deserves to be celebrated. Every wedding deserves to be celebrated. Every love deserves to be celebrated. So if you want to
every
do
love story deserves to be remembered.
I know. And so it's like, if I'm going to get a dress.
Okay.
I'm so done. I love that.
It's like, if I'm going to get a dress, I'm going to get a flowers, like may as well just have a party.
Oh yeah. 100%.
There will probably be a party when, I don't know, when I get that ring.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see.
I see in your near future.
I really
see
hope
it.
so. I really hope so.
You guys are like literally like a match made in heaven.
I
like
love him
everything.
so much. He's like my best friend.
You guys
and
are the best.
It's so fun.
I love it.
So healing. So healing.
Oh,
So yeah, hopefully that's my future. Blended families.
I know.
Another
I'm
wedding.
here for. Oh yeah, I know. She said it's crazy.
Yeah.
Welcome to the circus.
I know. That's
literally.
the next podcast. See you in 2 years. Like, or
How's the blended family going?
Yeah.
And how did the wedding go? We'll have you on after
Wedding
all
number
that stuff
2.
happens.
Yes. I love it.
I love you so much. Thank you so much for coming on
Yeah,
and just really
thanks,
sharing your
guys.
story. I know it's been a lot for you, but I think, the listeners are going to love, and there's so many other people going through the same situation. So thank you so much for coming.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
So thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of the Wedding Hive podcast. Be sure to like and comment on today's episode. We would love to hear your feedback, and we will see you next week.
Bye guys.